All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another stream. We are doing another attempt of this alpha category. I'm dying to every creature in the game. Every single one across all the Downpour characters. And so you may have seen the first time the first time that I did this speedrun. Like part speedrun, part challenge, you know. If you want to try to do it as fast as possible, you can. It's not necessary, I suppose, if you want to try this challenge out for yourself, but I've tried to optimize them a lot. And the previous stream that I did was part of that, to kind of get a feel for what the route was like and, you know, just the run in general. And now I have a better idea of like what order to die to the creatures in and which characters to play. I made the mistake of playing Spearmaster last time. Never do that again. So the list of creatures down here, you can see it is they're in slightly different order, but it's the same list of creatures. A few things that I want to clarify. This right here represents the rot that's on the walls, like the tentacles and stuff that you can find in Garbage Waste and in Pebbles. What else? That might be it. This is a garbage worm, and this is wormgrass. This is a stowaway. Just some of the like less common creatures. I'll leave that down there. Let me know if that's like takes up a good amount of the screen. So this is just a thing that I have to keep track of which creatures that I have died to, and I realized that I forgot to do something. Hopefully this doesn't break the stream. It broke Rain World. Take a bit to set up. Again. Okay. So I have a timer this time up there to keep track of the overall run. I did not have that last time. I actually think that the time was inaccurate because of that, because there were actually a few parts of the stream where it lagged a bit, so those times weren't accounted for. So I decided to count the long legs and garbage waste. I'm gonna count them as daddy long legs. So I have brother long legs much later in the list down here. This is where I'm going to be playing Rivulet. That's one of the main differences in this run. As Rivulet, I'm getting brother long legs, the Guardian, and the brother long legs. Guess I just started. Welcome to the stream. So I'll just do a quick overview of the characters. From Orange Lizard to Firebug, this is Saint. Because of Firebug, I basically have to do an entire Saint story percent run. Or, I guess, any percent run. So what the story percent run does. But, all of these creatures I will try to get as Saint. From the Red Leech to the Chieftain Scavenger, this is all Artificer. And, the Chieftain is just like the Firebug, as in it's exclusive to Artificers, so I basically just do a regular story percent run, plus all the creatures that are on the way. Some of the creatures I used to get as Spearmaster, I've moved over to Artificer. And then from Brother Longlegs to Mother Longlegs, this is all Rivulet. These two I do as Gourmand. That's unique to, or the Hunter Longlegs is unique to Gourmand. And since they start in Shaded, I might as well also get Coalescipede, because they're actually not very common outside of Shaded. And then at the very end, a Pebbles percent run, essentially, as Monk, where we go up to Pebbles to die to him. We do meet Pebbles as Artificer, but he does not kill you because of the ID drone that you have. So yeah, just, you know, let me know if everything looks good for the stream, and I guess I'll get started now. Starting with Saint. So I just realized that I haven't seen this image in a while. I guess because I didn't actually make it to the end of the run. So yeah. Now, one interesting part about this category is, you know, a lot of these creatures I'm going to have to go out of my way to die to them intentionally. But some of them I won't die to intentionally. I'll just die to them accidentally. Just like how you die most of the time anyway. So, you know, sometimes, say early on in the run, I might die to some random white lizard, way before that I have it, where the time where I like plan to die to a white lizard. And so I'll have to keep that into account where if I die to a creature early, I don't have to go out of my way to die to it later. So it actually makes the run quite flexible. Ideally, I never die unintentionally because every like planned death is like quite efficient, where I die quite close to a shelter, so I don't have to like walk very far. But I know that's probably not going to happen to be like exactly ideal. Also, another thing I should point out about this run, I have karma requirements turned off, so I can go through gates at any karma level. And you might understand why, because okay. Because I'm going to be dying a lot, and that would really hurt my karma level. And just so that I don't spend a year karma caching, I've decided to turn off karma requirements. So falling is not one of the things that we're trying to die to. We're just doing creatures, no like external like environmental hazards. So first of all, I don't know how the orange lizard got all the way down there so quickly. I guess they fell. I've never really seen that happen before. So this is our first creature. Orange lizard. I also changed around the tracking program so that it would actually like work properly. There's a karma flower there. Another way to do that, to do this run, is to try to take advantage of karma flowers so that you never drop below a certain karma level. Like that'd just be a huge pain because you have to always go back to your karma flower after a death. So just sticking with the no karma requirements. So as Saint, we are going to have to visit all of the echoes. That's basically what this run is. Just going in between the main objectives and then dying to creatures along the way. Whenever there's a creature in a good spot. It's probably the best speedrun idea. It's not my idea. Someone in the chat suggested this. What's the most meme run I've done? It's probably this one right here. I don't usually do categories like this. If anyone has suggestions for like a kind of interesting idea for speedrun or challenge, I'm open. There can be an orange lizard right here. Of course, I don't want to die to. They are not. Requires a few mods. So right now we're just making our way over to Chimney Canopy because there's a strawberry lizard there, and it is pretty much the only strawberry lizard that we have easy access to in this whole run. They are not very common. Mostly they're in Chimney Canopy, Industrial, Outskirts. I don't know if there's any in Outskirts. That sounds right though. And we don't really go to any of those regions, so usually I just head over to Chimney Canopy to grab the Echo. But since there's a flying centipede and a strawberry lizard in this area, I will be staying in the shelter. I made the same mistake again. Okay, this is actually something that I was going to fix in this attempt, but I forgot. And actually, more actually, I didn't have enough time. Yeah, I can just share in the chat. I want a shelter here, but I need to get food. I don't know if there's any shelter or any food on the way here that I could have gotten. I think there might have been in that one room. Like there's some hanging Not from the bottom of it, so I'll have to go down and grab some food. Luckily, it's actually not that far away. Still annoying. It's probably a good idea just to get food whenever I'm not like trying to die. This is the food that I was talking about. And I almost fell off. That's a solid platform right there. Tund World and Beast Nest. You know, speaking of Artificer, a side effect of having karma requirements turned off means that Artificer can just go through gates without needing a scavenger. So it actually makes the scavenger part of this run a lot easier. Artificer is usually quite annoying to play when you have to carry around scavenger bodies. Maybe some people don't mind it much, but kind of makes Artificer a lot more annoying to play for me. So I do enjoy that part of the challenge. I don't know if it's better to get the Echo now or die to the creatures first. I'm just going to go to the creatures. Usually I try to do the things that are further away first. Let's say that I'm in an area with a red lizard and a green lizard. And the green lizard is further away than the red lizard. I think, oh, that was the lizard right there. Let's say, I think it'd be good to die to the green lizard first, because on the way there, I might run into the red lizard and accidentally die to it. And in that case, you know, if I decided to die to the red lizard first, I may have... Then after dying to the red lizard, I would go to the green lizard, and maybe I'd die to the red lizard again, and I'd just waste the cycle. So it's usually better to try to do things that are further away, because you might die to something on the way there. So now I need to basically go back down here to that centipede that we saw the first time. Centipede are actually kind of funny. They aren't immediately aggressive towards you. So I'll have to stick around, and maybe I'll have to avoid the lizard, but they left me right now. Also, oh, no, that's a vulture. That's a white lizard. Okay. Well, there goes white lizard. As I said, that was actually my example. I was gonna do that way later as Artificer, but I guess I might not have to. That might still happen though. I don't know where the Centipede went though. It might have lineage. That would be really annoying. I don't think it had long enough to die. Also, I don't know if lineage happens if you die. If a creature dies, it might lineage in the next cycle, but if you die, I don't know if that still happens, basically. Hopefully I catch the centipede this time. I guess I can check this room to be safe. In case they went into here. See them. That guy's back again. That's another white lizard. Where is the centipede? I'm gonna have to assume that they went up into this other room. Or maybe they went like towards the echo. No, they couldn't because of the like effect. This is a bit annoying. This guy's in the way now. I don't really have a plan for any other center wings. Unless I like took another shelter in Sky Islands. So far, this is actually going worse than the first attempt. Although, you know, it's not really any different. Like, if the center wing entered this room, they would immediately get pacified. They wouldn't be able to move anywhere else. Actually, I'm gonna get the Echo. Actually, the center wing is supposed to spawn in this room, right? So maybe the Echo is messing with it. So I'll grab that now, I suppose, if that fixes it. Honestly, if this was an actual like speedrun attempt, I'd probably restart right now. But I'll keep going. I don't want the stream to drag on for too long. That's part of the reason I wanted to try to optimize this run. The stream wouldn't go on for like over 4 hours. Probably still will though. No, it's absolutely fine. I mean, there's not many people in the chat. So, you know, I can pretty easily read your messages. I don't mind it. So the Echo might have been the problem now. I see a bat fly up there. That's a white lizard. There they are. I'm gonna blame the Echo. Don't. Goodness. Now they're aggressive. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. I expected them to be able to carry me a lot easier. Okay, well, that's everything that we needed to do over there, so now we're heading back. I could have done that a lot better. Is this an actual category? No. If 2 other people do this run, then it is a category. That's how it works in the moment. As long as 3 people do a speedrun, then it is counted as a category. So, if anyone else wants to try it. Although we would have to establish a more, like, concrete set of rules. But this is a very long run. It took about like 4 hours last time, or maybe over 4 hours. No, wasn't it like just like barely below 4 hours, like 3 hours and 50 something minutes? Either way, those kind of categories are maybe hard to get people interested in. Like I really have to spend 4 hours doing this. But some people joke about how this is just how they play the game normally. They end up dying to everything. So if you want to just keep track of it in a casual playthrough and then submit that. Another thing is that this tracker thing that I have to like keep track of which creatures I have died to, it's something that I made. So I would either have to like distribute this program around, or you'd have to find some other way to keep track of it. So it might be hard. I want to let you know that every single creature on this list I already have planned out on where I'm going to die to it. So I know like where a stowaway is. I heard that there's a stowaway in... You're annoying. There's a stowaway in the gutter, and I go to the gutter as Rivulet, but I could not find a stowaway. And they are pretty hidden, but I looked very closely. I did not find any. Even in the rooms where the wiki says that there's stowaways, I assume that they're probably just for a specific character. But there are, as the Saint, there are stowaways in... Where is it? Undergrowth. Which is still kind of out of the way and annoying to get to, but it's possible. I go to Undergrowth anyway for the Echo, so we just have to go there twice. Once for the Echo, once for the stowaway. But stowaways are especially annoying to find, because on the interactive map that I used, they do not display as a creature spawn. They're just kind of part of the environment. This guy is always in the way. Maybe I actually am not going far enough to grab that block over there. It's not, I mean, I know that the timing is kind of hard to grab onto that, but maybe I'm just not even close enough in the first place. Yeah, the Zeke is being annoying. Alright, I guess I could have just stayed in this room. However... Oh, the Karma Lizard had the Centipede. Is the Yeek still in this room? Yes, they are. But the Scavengers don't like Yeeks, so that could have been dangerous. I don't want to preemptively get a Scavenger death. Yeah, the main reason people never see stowaways is because they blend in very well with the background. And they're usually on ceilings that already have like a bunch of like vines and other random stuff on them. And then there's only a very small chance that they're actually going to be awake. Which is when they're actually like dangerous and like trying to catch stuff. So most of the time, people see a handful of stowaways that are just dormant. And they're just sitting there blending in with the ceiling. And so of course you're not going to notice them. But once you know their locations, you can start pointing them out. I think I've only ever seen an active stowaway once. Even though I know where they are. So I actually don't know if I have enough cycle time for this. I don't know if the cold will be a problem. I feel like I remember the cold being a problem when I first did Saint speedruns, but maybe that's because I didn't have the lantern with me. You can see it's actually snowing a bit harder now. If you want to find them, they're most commonly in Subterranean. There's a few in Subterranean. There's a few in Outer Expanse. Undergrowth, the Gutter, apparently. Those kinds of regions where you can usually find them. Only have a few more rooms, so hopefully the cold isn't the problem. Now, also that will be indoors for a little bit. So this next room, or the room below me, is filled with spiders. But I have to get past that room. Ideally, I die to spiders later in the run, but there's still a very high chance I'll die to them there. So it is the end of the cycle now. Hopefully I can still make it. And the Eek should be fine too. Actually, the wind was pushing me forward a little bit. Wind tech. This is the last room that we need to get to. I should be fine in here. So we sheltered here. To go to Subterranean because you hate getting out of there. Yeah, that is true. Usually if you're in Subterranean, you You only leave by going to the depths. Or if you want to go to Shoreline. But the whole journey, like across Subterranean to get to Shoreline, is quite long. And if you don't know where the shelters are, it can feel like you have to make the whole thing in a single cycle. The only person like Rubicon. Yeah, probably. Oops, I don't know why I went into the room. I'm just gonna leave immediately. It's not very replayable. Actually, I think it's better on replays because you can learn to route through the region. I mean, I don't know what other people's experiences were like, but I got very lost on my first trip through Rubicon. I was so incredibly lost. I ended up going all the way up the right side and then all the way down the left side. And then all the way back up again. So I went through it like 3 times instead of just once. So I didn't realize that you had to go into the iterator part. I guess it kind of sounds obvious, like, oh yeah, you should go to Pebbles because that's always been the objective. But I didn't know that Pebbles would be there because the rooms were always like scrambled. So I feel like you couldn't trust the locations. Like, one of the rooms looked like it was going to lead to Moon, and of course it didn't. So I was like, why would the Pebbles one it be any different? Their mirror section, yep, that's a pain. Mirror Spurds and Mirror Soldiers are just real annoying in Rubicon. Actually, for speedruns. You're at the very end and a Mirror Soldier just shows up and one-shots you out of nowhere. I'm gonna be patient here. I have to die to spiders eventually, but I'd rather that be later. It took quite a while to get here. Excuse me. Alright, we're moving now. Force we tend to go with Saint's ability. I actually didn't like that. There's these little markings on the wall in the background where if you stand in front of them, your meter gets charged back up. I didn't know that, and a lot of people didn't know that because it never tells you. And you kind of have to pay attention to notice that your meter is getting filled up. So it might just look like there's a fancy particle effect when you're standing in front of it. So if you don't know that, you spend a lot of time just standing around waiting for your meter to recharge. And it takes like a full minute. Just waiting and doing nothing. Yeah, Mirror Soldiers will pursue you for much longer than pretty much any other creature. So there's some centipedes over here. Just one for now, which means that the other ones are hiding somewhere else. I guess not here though. That's up the hop. I think I'd like Rubicon better if it was more linear. Because it feels like once you get to Rubicon, you're expecting it to be the very end, since that's usually where the depths is. You're like, alright, this is the end of the campaign, and then you're in Rubicon, which is such a huge region that you can get lost there for like an hour or more. Which is weird when you're expecting it to end right there. And if it was linear, it'd be like, okay, I just need to follow this path forward, and I'll make it to the end, right? But since it's so open, kind of like other regions, of the game, because you know that's a big part of the game, that regions are very open-ended. There's a lot of just empty rooms to explore and different paths to take. That's good for those regions, but for Rubicon, you don't really want to spend a lot of time in Rubicon. At least I don't know why you would want to. It's not like Industrial, for example, where it's a place that you might just want to hang out for a long time. I know people like to play Railroad like that, where they just stick in one area for a long time and just kind of just do whatever they want to, you know? So I don't know why you would want to do that in Rubicon, but that's kind of how it's set up for you to do that. So for the next little bit, I'm basically just going to be doing the regular story percent route. I should call it 80%. We are basically just heading over to the Undergrowth Echo now. But after that, I'll just head back to get the stowaway. That was an aggressive scavenger. Do some more. Also, Rubicon didn't have any music. It's like the same like ambient track that plays through the whole thing. I feel like it gets kind of dull. Like, the music is such a special part of Rain World. I'm surprised that Rubicon doesn't have anything special. Like, what if it had like remix versions of the threat music of all the different regions that you went through? That'd be a ton of effort. But it would have been so great. Or at least like just its own threat music. I mean, I know it does have like an unused threat track, but I actually don't like that one that much. But maybe it could have at least had some sort of ambient theme that changed in the different areas, because there's sort of the depth like area in the beginning, and then there's the like distorted regions area, and then of course there is a song that plays in the very end, which is actually very good, even though it's just a reverse version. That's the main thing. Maybe reverse version of the threat music, maybe that would work. Probably not though. But you know, I think that using the threat theme at least would have been better. But I feel like since it's such a long region that you might get lost in, or you might die a lot in, the same like background noise essentially just gets really repetitive and boring. Oh yeah, the threat music is already based on like a bunch of different layers, so it would have been that hard to just add like a few more. Although I don't know how that would actually sound. Also, the creatures, when I first saw the firebug, I was kind of hyped thinking that there would be Rubicon versions of a bunch of different creatures, and the firebug was just the egg bug variant, but there were nothing else. There was nothing else. It was just the firebug. There were technically golden creatures, but they're just red creatures that look slightly different. And not even every creature is golden, so they're not even consistent with it. But again, you know, then again, adding it like that many more creatures would take a lot of effort. Audio always breaks in this area. Maybe I should have gone to the stowaway first. I don't think it really matters too much though. But I mean, if different variants of creatures would make the whole region more difficult, then maybe I wouldn't like that. But you know, maybe not just like those kind of creatures, like the red creatures, but instead like some random not very dangerous things like noodle flies and squidcada would be given like suddenly very dangerous variants. Snails. The stowaway is probably the most time-consuming creature to get. It's just like so far out of the way. Ideally, I died of the Shred Spider later. Before going down to Rubicon. Actually, I think that I've kind of saved a bunch of time compared to last run. Last run, I died to Wormgrass multiple times unnecessarily. I died to Spitter Spider and a Centipede. All on my way to the Farmerace Echo, I believe. I think I might have died to this Spitter Spider. One thing that I want to mention about this run that is kind of annoying, centipedes, because their size varies a lot. There's baby centipedes, adult, mature, and overgrown, and red centipedes. I think those are all the variations of the main type. And I decided to count adult centipedes and overgrown centipedes as the two types that you need to die to. There's a scavenger down there. Right, I don't need to go up. I go over here. Just because I didn't want to make it too difficult to distinguish all the different sizes of centipedes. So adults are anything that's large enough to kill you. And then overgrowns are like obviously much larger. Although there actually was still some difficulty of it identifying which one it was in the last run. Also, centipedes are kind of weird, as in they can kind of like be a random size when they spawn in. I need a rock. There's a rock up there, maybe? Oh. That's a leech. There's stowaways here, they're just inactive. That's a rock. There we go. That's what it looks like. It died with a stowaway. I mean, all the centipedes have unique, like, icons. So I decided to just count them all. I either made it past that centipede or died to it, both of which would help the run out. So, like, because of how much the centipede size varies, I actually think it might be a bit difficult to find them. There's an area in Artifice's campaign where there's just a big clump of centipedes. And maybe one of those, or two of those will be the right sizes. But we'll just have to see when we get there. Or I'll die to a centipede before that point, which is also pretty likely, especially in this area. Yeah, those are probably the most obvious stowaways. Because if you go to undergrowth from... Okay, then. Go to undergrowth from outskirts, they're just, like, right there on the path. So they're just kind of broken. They're definitely broken. I can never decide, though, which one is better between Rivulet and Saint. Because they both have really strong movement. Okay, then. I just missed it. That's Mira's Word, though. Kelfie mod? For what? I'm not gonna be killing anything. Oh, is it just gonna be loading now? I've been having problems with this recently, with the game crashing like that. I don't know why. I thought it was because of mods that I had, but now I don't have any other mods other than the ones that are just part of the game by default. Rivet doesn't really have any downsides. I mean, I'm talking about movement specifically. And when you compare their movement, you know, Saint doesn't really have any downsides either. Other than just being, like, a bit slower on average, I suppose. I think the grappling makes up for it. Yep, this is Rain World. Rivet is easier, but Saint is more fun. I agree with that, mostly. And I don't really know which one is more fun, but Rivulet is definitely the easier character. Because Saint, you have to kind of get used to the way the grappling works, but for Rivulet, they're basically just faster survivor. Ran this world? You mean just world? Please just keep going. Just going back and forth just to slow me down. Now these guys are gonna push me forward. Or that. So that's pretty slow. I mean, that kind of stuff is, you're always expecting it to happen in this game. I'm surprised I didn't die that whole time. I'll grab another gooey duck. Yeah, anytime there's a tunnel, that's the only way to get through a room. It's always like the worst part of the region. There's another one of those in Industrial that's also really annoying. It's this long tunnel they have to go through, and if like you're halfway through the tunnel and there's a lizard that shows up on the other side, you're just dead. You just can't do anything about it because your options are so limited. Or Scavenger just hit the lantern. I might have been able to reach up to the ceiling from that jump. Okay, that's a time loss. I don't need to die to Mira's Bird again. Hopefully there's no scavengers this time. Anytime anyone mentions anything about the internet, I get kind of nervous because I've been having problems with the internet and OBS recently. But I did not see any dropped frames. That's annoying. Yeah, I mean, there's rooms, like some infiltration. Excuse me. You're on the other side of a wall. Infiltration, there's a lot in Pipe Yard. There's basically big, like, maze-like rooms that have a lot of tunnels, but there's a lot of options, a lot of, like, branching paths, and, like, different ways to go. Keep move. She's gonna grab onto me. Alright, that's an adult centipede, by the way. Yeah, we made it past them. Surely there won't be any other problems in Subterranean. I guess I'll just have to be more careful of the mirror birds. Bottom right is what's left? Yes, that is all the creatures that I have yet to die to. Whenever I die to a creature, I check it off the list. What do I think of your challenge? I don't know. It uses mods, and it doesn't really seem like 100% a challenge. Like, there's things that make it easier and harder, you know? Also, I don't really like using the rifle. That was close. It's just never an effective weapon. I mean, I guess that is also part of the challenge, maybe. That it's the joke rifle isn't really good. But you know, you either just like basically just acts as another way to use the ammo that you can already just throw normally, or it's like completely ineffective at all. Like if you put a bomb in it, for example, it just throws the bomb slightly faster than normal. Like you could have just thrown the bomb and it would have worked the same way. And if you put rocks in it, then the rocks barely do any damage at all. So I always feel like I'm like handicapping myself if I'm holding on to, if I'm using it. Maybe that's the point of the challenge. And also it's Artificer's campaign, which I've already played a lot of. I think I would have liked the joke rifle. I mean, of course, the whole point is that it's a joke, but I think I would have liked it if it was actually more balanced. And also if you could put spears in it so that it would do actually deal damage. But I can imagine that like each like item that's like usually in a region could be its own like ammo type. Like rocks, maybe they would do a little bit more damage, but they would be mostly for knockback. Spears would be for damage, but it'd still be kind of weak. Flashbangs would be effective against spiders and like stunning creatures. Jellyfish would be like also be good for stunning creatures, but not like the flashbang. These cherry bombs could be a, kind of like maybe slightly stronger rocks essentially. I think most items in the joke rifle are just completely useless. You know, it's not supposed to be balanced. It's not really supposed to be part of the game anyway. It's kind of a funny little thing they added on the side, so it doesn't really matter. If someone wants to make a mod that kind of maybe makes it more interesting to use in an actual playthrough, that would be cool. Yeah, I also did the same thing in that mission. I think I used an electric spear, and it kind of just carried me through the whole challenge. Anyway, I need to focus a little bit on this area. There are a bunch of snails in here, which can kill me very easily. Snails are not on the list, however. That's because you die from drowning and not just from the snail. And it pretty much only happens as Saint. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of just representative of what Downpour is kind of like overall. I have enough food already. Yeah, the fact that they thought of actually making the joke rifle a part of the game. And I feel like that made it through a little bit in the rare factions, so I think that it just gives you way too much movement. I know that I have the world record for the Rivulet speedrun. But I still don't really like the rare faction cell, because Rivulet is already so incredibly mobile. Do you need to make it even better? I actually probably would have liked if it was just a little bit slower. It feels like it makes like any area that is meant for Survivor, it makes it feel completely trivial to just run through it at max speed. But also all of the areas that are actually designed for Rivulet, as in the Rot and Submerged Superstructure, you don't really get to make use of that movement. In Submerged Superstructure, you're swimming. And in the Rot, there's Rot everywhere, but there's also the gravity switching. And you get the rare factions out there anyway. But I like the idea of the cell, sort of. Maybe? I don't know. It makes your movement better, but it means that you can't use any weapons. But that's totally fine. I mean, they're the movement-focused character. A lot of people finish the Rivulet campaign without even killing a single creature. I think that's a fair trade-off. No, don't do that. The handicap for Rivulet is the short rain cycles. Which I actually really like. It means that you basically have to speedrun the game. Going from shelter to shelter as fast as possible without really focusing on fighting anything. I actually think it's quite annoying that that's the way that a lot of Downpour characters are designed. Here's something that makes them incredibly overpowered, and here's something that makes them incredibly annoying to play. Here's the downside, you know? Like, Spearmaster sounds kind of fun with being able to create a bunch of spears. But then, you know, you have to carry this pearl around. It just gets really annoying. You can't put it in your stomach. Like, Artificer sounds fun, but then you have to fight a bunch of scavengers all the time. Uh-oh. And you have to carry a scavenger body around when you want to get through Karma Gates. I guess those are intended to make the characters more balanced, but I feel like it just makes them more annoying to play. Because all of the like excessive amount of red creatures and such already makes them balanced. That's the difficulty. Hello, Moon. Goodbye, Moon. Gravity stay low. Okay, stay low for just long enough for me to make it up here. That's one thing I wanted. And Gormod stamina, I mean, I got used to Gormod stamina. I don't mind it as much now, but if you're not really sure how it works, then it's real annoying. Since a lot of people are going to start Downpour by playing Gourmand, I think it's kind of a not great introduction to the DLC. It's like, oh, it's a DLC, let me like go and explore all this new stuff, but you have really low stamina, so you can't actually move around very quickly. And plus, a lot of their campaign is the same as Survivor and Hunter, so it feels like you don't even have much to explore in the first place. Like, Outer Expanse was a really cool region, but I probably would have liked to explore it for the first time as another character. And I think that's actually what I did. I speedran through Gourmand, and then I went back as Survivor to actually explore the region. And as for Saints, I think they're actually one of the like best designed characters. They can't throw spears, but that's not really a problem because you're going to outmaneuver your like opponents anyway. That's the point of their tongue, right? Trying to avoid stuff instead of harming stuff. Plus, it also kind of works lore-wise because of the whole Saint thing. That's kind of their whole point. Best weaknesses are the ones you can work around if you're skilled at the game. I think that's true for all the characters. You can eventually overcome their weaknesses. Problem is you're not going to do that on your first playthrough. And I imagine that actually the majority of players are going to play Downpour and then be done with it. Like, that was a cool DLC, but you know, that's enough Rain World, you know. If you just played through the Survivors campaign and you thought that was difficult, suddenly there's 5 more campaigns and most of which are more difficult than Survivors. And it's on that first playthrough where you're not going to really understand these mechanics and where they are really annoying. And also Spearmaster, there is no workaround. Having to carry the pro around just makes it worse, even if you're good at the game. I mean, maybe I'm not actually good enough for it, but Spearmaster is still annoying for me to play. And the speedrun is like one of the more difficult ones out of the other story percent runs. The next creatures that I have on the list are a bunch of shoreline creatures. I'm heading to the Echo next, because I want to get the Saint's ability, which I also think is kind of goofy. It feels similar to the Rarefaction Cell, where it just makes you overpowered and it feels kind of out of place. I don't know. But we want to get that ability just to swim through a shoreline faster, so it'll be faster to die to all those creatures there. The thing is that if Spearmaster is able to put stuff in his stomach, then you can just passage between Pebbles and Moon to finish their quest. I think that was the point. It's very much intentional so that you had to actually walk between the two. Troll Lizard. I just think a better approach is to give Spearmaster's campaign to another Slugcat. Let's think about it. Rivulet and Artificer are perfectly suited to be messengers. Maybe Rivulet more, but they're a very fast character. Like, why isn't Rivulet the one who's delivering the pearl? Because they seem like they'd be the perfect one. The perfect Slugcat that's for like delivering stuff around. When Seven Red Suns talks about, like, I'm going to design a Slugcat that's good at being a messenger, Spearmaster is not what I would think of. Because I feel like Spearmaster ends up being actually, like, worse than Hunter in some ways, at actually, like, being good at surviving. And like Artificer also has like really good mobility for especially traversing precipice and like underhang areas that you would go through to like deliver the pearl quickly. I don't know what Spearmaster would do, but honestly, like Spearmaster never had to be the character for Downpour. All of the Slugcats were just designed for the more I never remember if it's more Slugcats or many Slugcats, but that mod that originally added all these Slugcats to the game, they just like had interesting ideas for Slugcats. And then eventually when they wanted to expand upon the mod and eventually turn it into Downpour, they had to design campaigns and stories around these characters. Rivet kind of ended up being the very agile and also aquatic Slugcat, so that of course they ended up with the Submerged Superstructure campaign. And Artificer, I guess they wanted to really make their combat part of their design like really important, so they decided, you know, you should fight scavengers. I really like the idea of Artificer, or like back when Downpour was announced, I was really excited for Artificer because they'd be great at like score runs, fighting like red creatures, vultures, mirrors, birds, those kind of things. Okay, come on, let's make it up here, please. There we go. But being able to like make explosive spears is perfect for those kind of creatures that take multiple spear hits to kill, but like only take a single explosive spear. And of course, you fight against scavengers who die in one hit from a spear anyway. They're very differing opinions on scavenger combat. A lot of people really like it, a lot of people really don't like it. Anyway, remember when the speedrun was about dying to things? Yeah, we're doing that again. This time I can fly. So I'll be doing it marginally faster. Oh, Leviathan right down there. That's exactly what I wanted. Except they're going down. Yeah, I think the combat is just like kind of unbalanced. Don't go here. Go over here instead. They can kill you in one shot. They can like attack you from off screen. I do remember the drought mod. I never played it myself. I remember that was kind of fascinating to like, didn't you go through Moon when she was still alive, just like Spearmaster? I remember that being like really fascinating. But they basically have the same like Artificer ability, right? Just a double jump. So, you know, focus on mobility for being a messenger. Makes sense. Unlike Spearmaster, who's like the least mobile Downpour character. Maybe I should have died to that mirror vulture from the other screen. Oh, there's one right there. Should be one right down here. Yes, this is why this is a perfect shelter for this challenge. So many creatures all within, like, not that far. They're not that far from the shelter. Hello, game. All right, there we go. Now we head back to subterranean. Oh, it adds on to your momentum. Artifice just sets it to a set speed, so every jump is pretty much exactly the same. You could probably do some like tricks to like really give yourself a huge speed boost for that character. Of course, I'm not too familiar with it, but that's what you're making it sound like. Jetfish, I will grab you. I should probably time this room to figure out what the fastest way to get through it is. I don't like to bring the jetfish with me because they tend to activate these snails really easily. Scavengers. They hear me. I don't think this guy has any weapons. Other than that rock, I don't even know if he's gonna be aggressive. Don't mind me. Whoa. That was a little close. I thought, looked like that scavenger was gonna get got and wasn't paying attention. Okay, I don't think this guy's aggressive, but I'm gonna be careful. Maybe just because I wasn't holding any weapons. I do feel like Artificer's movement gets a little bit boring after a while because it's always just the same double jump. So if you want to move fast, you basically just keep jumping forward and that's it. It's not like Rivet where you can do slides and slide pounces and extended slides. Or with Saint where when there's a ceiling you can do swings like this where you try to like build up momentum and keep it going as long as possible. It's just, you just do a bunch of double jumps. And that's it. Usually I go down in that pipe earlier in this room to get through filtration faster, but I actually want to stay in this shelter instead. The one that's over here. These guys are annoying. They are no longer annoying. dodge do? Of course, there's like 20 spiders here. Which I would like if I had stayed in a shelter recently, but I do actually need to go through this area first. So please don't attack me. I don't know if these spiders lineage. I don't have food. I made this mistake again. One of those spiders is alive. Okay, that one wasn't, but now it is. So there's also a shelter down here, which is pretty close to a bunch of these creatures. There's spiders down here. There's this caramel lizard. There's, I guess, like, while I'm right here, I might as well. Since it's pretty easy to get food and bring it back to the other shelter too. I guess there were gooey ducks in that room with the mirror spurs that I could have grabbed on the way here. So we are immediately going to die. Also, if I knew I was going to stay in the shelter for the wormgrass death to be here, you suck. I'm right. Hello? There we go. Maybe because I click away from the game while that happens, and now the resolution is messed up. Great when that happens. There's like a 2% chance I would have died to that spider. So we found out from last run, dying to a spider is actually incredibly difficult. That is a caramel lizard. Maybe I should have died to the spider first. That's exactly what I was talking about. Yep, I am a creature that you want to consume. And actually, maybe I'll just go the other way. There should be spiders over there too. Or not. Are you just gonna stand there and do nothing? Okay then. They really did stand there and do nothing. Can a normal spider kill me while I'm stunned from a red spider? Get out of the wormgrass. I died to the wormgrass. What? I guess if you're stunned, they just kill you instantly, because that's what they try to do when they grab onto you. Huh. I'm not gonna try to die to this spider because the caramel lizard's right there, so let's just go back over this way. Favorite modded slug. I really like the one that I forgot the name of. The one that has wings and that can fly around. That takes place in Saint's timeline. I really like their movement. Although they have a few things about their abilities that are just kind of feel out of place. Oh yeah, that's a lot of spiders. Outsider? Yeah, that's the one. Surely, just one of these spiders. This caramel lizard is making this a lot more annoying than it should be. And all of the other creatures in this area. Although just convincing a spider to actually attack you in the first place is quite difficult. Poacher. Poacher was interesting. I felt kind of weird about Poacher. They have a bunch of cool abilities, that feel useless because you don't need to fight anything. They need like 2 food pips, right? So you eat like 2 random fruit and you're done. You don't need to like fight anything because you have enough food. But it seems like that their characters focused on combat, right? That's like all their abilities and stuff. Although you want to attack me. You were stuck in this tunnel with me and you have no choice. Okay, they decided there was another option. You missed. Spiders are probably the hardest creature to die to in this whole run. Okay, didn't need that. This is pretty much exactly how it went last time. Except I think it was actually easier than this. There's like 4 spiders in this area. 5 of them maybe. Spiders are bad at the game. Yep. There's no lantern mice here. Them to eat. I don't know how they survive. Like just the only thing that slaughtered them is like the baby centipedes who are pretty good at defending themselves. You suck at this game. Don't die to the worm grass. You died to the worm grass. Okay, I guess I shouldn't throw a rock at them then. I don't know if there's a better place to die to a spider. Maybe as Gourmand. Would that be better? Because then they're shaded and shaded citadel. They might like want to attack you a lot more often. That might be a better option. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm attempting to die to a spider. And they keep just jumping into worm grass. And now this guy's in the way. Very smart lizard. That's a mole lizard. That's a spitter spider. Okay, surely. They're so bad. This is why I'm scared of these spiders, by the way. You can actually just run past them and you will never die to them. It's actually impossible. There we go. Congratulations. How do they jump backwards? You know, actually, in the Artificer story percent run, I don't think we need to kill any scavengers. We usually do, because they're always in the way. But we just bring the 1 scavenger body from the beginning, and that's it. That's the only one that we need to progress. But there's usually just so many scavengers on the wall and in Metropolis that it just makes it so much easier to kill them. Anyway, I actually don't know if this was faster or slower than last attempt up until this point. That's how much time we spent here getting food and then get actually down to spider, but it also took a long time. Also, I'm going to actually, nope, not this menu. Options. There we go. I don't know why that happens when it becomes like all pixelated like that. Just wait for a vulture. That can happen. I know that can happen, but it's so rare to find a vulture in that room. Even if you bring a vulture grub, it won't spawn in a vulture. I tried that for the speedrun. It would have actually made the run easier, because the Scav King fight can be quite random. But if you bring a vulture grub, they will not summon a vulture. But I think one can show up. I've seen it before. Or maybe that was like creature randomizer. But if a vulture does somehow get into the room, the Scav King will not even like attempt to defend itself. He'll just stand there. You're a red spider. You're supposed to be good at this. Thank you. Where's this guy? Oh no, when they turn around like that. Yeah, they're going that way. Cormon can't even reach. Yeah, it's up on that platform. I'm going to get a lantern for this. So I am not very good at this area. There's a mole lizard there. As long as they go up here, I will be fine. Although I hear another one. Okay, they are somewhere else. Maybe they're all in this little area right here. No. Well, someone's making a lot of noise. Sometimes Scav King survives Singularity Bomb. Hello? You sure? I know they have armor. Really, it's not that effective. I thought the Singularity Bomb just like anything within the radius just dies, and that's it. But the Scav King armor is like really annoying. It just seems to take a random amount of spears to break it off. Usually it looks like there's like 3 pieces and you need 3 spears to break the armor, but usually it takes more than that for some reason. Maybe it depends on like where exactly the spear hits. That's why the Scav King is one of the most random parts of the speedrun. Now we're going all the way down here just for one little bug. Well, okay, Moon didn't actually... We don't know what happened to Moon, but the neurons definitely died. If you throw a Singularity Bomb, the neurons disappear. I don't know if anyone's tested. If you give Moon a bunch of neurons back, will she still be alive after you throw a Singularity Bomb? Also, last time I was here, I could not find a firebug. So, hopefully I'm luckier this time. Was it over here? I feel like I've seen a firebug in the starting area before, but it was not consistent. Oh, once you get her all the runs. Is that just how it works normally, too? Oh, firebug. Plus red lizard. Guess I can try to ascend the lizard. They're right next to each other, of course. Okay, that's red lizards. But it looks like there's that's consistent. I'm gonna go the other way from the start. Oh, is it loading? Is it doing this again? Why has this happened now? Rainroad really likes breaking today. I mean, the singulated bomb is only going to affect the puppet, really, or one little small area. There's still the entire rest of the structure that's contributing towards the iterator as a whole. Okay, I still took fall damage. Maybe you're just like hard-coded to take fall damage here. Okay, nothing here. I guess it does take quite a while to fall down in the first room of Rubicon, so maybe the firebug just like speedruns over to that room from this spawn. But now I need to find where it went from here. So I'll head in this area again. There's like one firebug in this whole like starting area, so they're quite hard to find. I don't need a red centipede death right now. There's one. Hey, let me like grab you. Maybe I should have like brought a rock or something. There we go. That took a bit too long. That took too long. But we're finally done with Saint. Artificer Town. So I have Garbage Worm right here on the list, but they're actually quite annoying to die to. You have to get through one room that is filled with centipedes. Of course, I have already died to centipedes in this run. So I have to get past that room. And then there's a slime lizard in that room too, so I have to avoid dying to both of those. But actually, also, I'm no longer playing Saint. I cannot grapple onto things. Now this area is kind of weird because there's some leeches, but there's not really enough to drown you completely. So I usually need to like pick up a few and then go to the next pool, pick up a few, repeat. Sometimes they're not very great at actually grabbing you. I can still escape. I'll go to this pool full of leeches. Grab some from here. You guys suck, just like the spiders. So Artificer is a lot stronger than other Slugcats, so they don't struggle at all at escaping from the leeches. So I don't really like want to count it as a leech death if I don't actually, if I can't escape so easily. I brought one leech with me. There's a bunch more in this room. Okay, actually this should be a good amount. That's another scavenger I didn't even notice. They're too busy with the scav body. What is this track called? I don't know. Over something. Why are the leeches so interested in the scavenger body? This is something that I am not really sure about for leeches. Like, was that really a death? Because I might have been able to swim out. And I kind of like purposely swam underwater in that scenario. Like, if you're grabbed by a leech and then you intentionally drown yourself, is that a death? For blue leeches, I got grabbed by them intentionally and then I could not escape. It's actually going to be a similar thing with Rivulet when I try to die to a jungle leech. Ooh, wall pounds. Oh. What is this game? This is Rain World. It rains in this world. You're not going to see rain actually this whole time probably. It is a fascinating game. You play as a Slugcat here. Usually they don't have the ability to blow themselves up, but this one does. Think of this game as a ecosystem simulation. There are creatures, they want to get food. And they just go around looking for food. Also, I probably should have eaten something for food. Well, there's a guy right here. I don't like that guy though. It looks like I have no choice. Okay, never mind. Hollow Knight. This game is not Hollow Knight. They're actually very different. They both have very large worlds that are fun to explore, but other than that, there's not too much similarities. They have very interesting lore, I suppose, both games. Hollow Knight is much more combat focused, as well as like it's a Metroidvania, so there's like upgrades and things that you can do, like boss fights and stuff. Rain World is just about exploration and the figuring out what's going on in this world you're in. It's very painful to play. I mean, I don't think it's that bad. Sometimes it can be a bit rough. I guess usually the assumption is made that if you enjoy playing a difficult game, you like enjoy not having fun, which doesn't make sense to me. You enjoy the suffering. I usually like challenging games because they're challenging. It's like interesting to try to like overcome the difficulty of it to improve your skill over time. So this area sucks because of all of these centipedes that I need to get past. I think luckily it's just this one large one. Oh, rip. Slug. Okay. Well, that's the red centipede. Technically, there are like somewhat Metroidvania aspects of this game, like getting their mark of communication, increasing your karma level. But they're not a main part of the game. That's like the whole thing of a Metroidvania, the upgrading yourself to unlock like parts of progression. Like, oh, I can't get there, but if only I had the Artificer double jump, I could get up there, you know? No way. Okay, if they were still able to shock me. Guys in the way. Okay, I'll just wait this out. All of this for a garbage worm. But also, you know, I won't have to return here to get the red centipede. Although that would not take that long at all. I really missed both of those. And now he's gone. So this room is actually quite dangerous because there's a lion lizard. There he is. If I had my spear still, I could deal with him. I don't know where that spear went. Remembered halfway through that swim that I'm Artificer. Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, you're very angry at me and you're going to drown me within like less time than it takes for this lizard to get to me. This is exactly what happened last time, by the way. Oh, come on. And now there's a lizard. Or another lizard. I don't know if this water is deep enough for me to drown in. It is. Okay. One of the more annoying creatures to die to. Just because of all the other stuff that's going on. And now it's DLL time. Not DLLs. Actually, I thought maybe I should die to another one. This one's not that. Whatever. Nope, they're not strong enough. This one instead. I should have gone here from the beginning. I mean, rocks do damage, but you never kill stuff with rocks intentionally. Except for, like, bat flies. I might accidentally drown if I go down there. So here's a weird part of this area. There's some DLLs over in this way, the big, like, cancerous tentacle monsters. Technically, in the code, these are supposed to be brother longlegs, but they are identical functionally to DLLs, so I'm counting them as DLLs for the sake of this challenge. And now that we're done with this area, we're heading to industrial. A lot of stuff going on. I already died to a red lizard, so we don't need to worry about that guy. Also, this is an electric spear. I kind of want to try to find a centipede to charge it up. I just happened to grab one. Also, I just realized I don't have a vulture mask. Maybe I'll get one in Chimney. Also, I don't go this way. Go up here. You didn't know there's a secret pipe up here, just like in the other garbage wastes. Oh, he took my spear. Well, okay. We're not doing that then. There's probably another Scion this way. Or not. There isn't. By the way, I have no idea what all of you are talking about. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't know why you are. But, hello everyone. Welcome to Rain World. I just stood there and took it. I already died to a scavenger anyway, so... Now we're heading back. I'm gonna grab a vulture mask. Okay. From this room, I think. That's just RNG, unfortunately. If there's just 1,000 scavengers and when you enter a room, that's just something you have to deal with. Might as well make 2. So I came to this room because there's usually vultures here. But they can be a bit spread out, so I'll check this room too. Every single one is in that room, except if I kill one, the vulture mask will drop down below, and it's really annoying to go down there. So I'd like if one of them came over into this room. That's probably should have eaten that vulture too. Oh well. This will make the next few areas a lot easier. All the lizards that were dangerous before are no longer. That was almost dangerous. It's dead. There might be a drop bug in this room. That's bad. Drop the vulture mask for a second so the lizard didn't realize that I am in fact not a massive bird. Why is this room like this sometimes? Hello? There is in fact an entrance right there. There we go. First jump in the game. It really isn't. It's not supposed to be. It's just real janky, just like this game is sometimes. Nice water hop. So I could have stayed in that shelter. Probably a good idea. If I run into scavengers again, I'm probably going to die again. So let's hope that that doesn't happen. This feels quite similar to last run, where I did die quite a bit here and there in between the shelters I tried to get to. So this might not be too much faster, although the major differences in the route may save a lot of time even over the deaths. Okay, that can be a bit inconsistent. Scavengers in here? Nope. I will keep moving then. That's great. Yeah, I lost so much time on the Mother Longlegs. But I mean the trip to the Mother Longlegs for Vivid is still quite difficult. It's just that that's the same route that I take in the story percent run, so I've practiced it a lot more. As opposed to Garbage Waste and Spearmaster, which I try to avoid as much as possible. I dropped the mask. I should have thought about that. It could be cool if I brought this guy with me. You can't. This guy will run away. Backwards. Oh, they got pinned to the wall. There's no reason to attack that droplet, by the way. Rain World is a sort of horror game in some ways and in certain areas. Every Karma Gate, Karma 1. This run is about dying. That's the whole point of the run, to die to every creature. If you're dying a lot, your Karma level would be very low, which would make getting through gates very annoying. So I've decided for this run to disable Karma requirements. You can do that in the remix settings. Not like Artificer can get a higher Karma level anyway. It's more important for the other characters though. It just makes the run more fun. Because you would have to spend like a long time Karma caching otherwise. Okay, I don't die to the vultures just yet. I didn't mean to throw that. Spapped in Minecraft and are going to Pokemon. You're just doing everything. I mean, okay, that is actually a kind of interesting idea. To, uh-oh. That one dead. They are in fact dead. Well, I'll die to something else then. Well, there's Dropig right here, so they're next on the list. That's not how you do it. Playing 4 games and watching a stream at the same time. But that might be like an interesting idea for a stream. To like have multiple games, and if you die in one, you just go to the next. You can just see like how, I don't know, you'd have to add something on top of that. So hopefully the Noodlefly will be alive this time, because I need to die to them. This is the only real convenient Noodlefly that I'll come across this whole run. Luckily, they aren't scared of vultures. Nope. Nope. Brutal. In this shelter, there's a chance that scavengers show up. They like to enter in from this pipe right here, and they are a huge pain. They just like to pile up and just form a wall. How about you play Ranworld? How about you add that to the list? One should be the fastest because the sign is just right there. Unless scavengers show up. There they are. Although there is an elite. I actually need to die to an elite. There we go. I think that was the elite that threw that. Because they were holding an explosive spear. What's the end goal of this challenge? Just die to all the creatures. That's what I'm doing right now. Some creatures are a little bit harder to get than others, like the Chieftain Scavenger. So while I'm dying to all the creatures, I'm focusing on some other main goal, like getting to Metropolis. That was a Cyan Lizard. Normal playthrough, basically. A lot of people have said that. That I'm just playing the game normally. I don't know how many people have died to a Stowaway, though. Stowaway, Guardian, Green Spider, a regular spider. You know how hard it is to die to a regular spider? Unless you're in Shaded. So now it's just RNG. Will I find a King Vulture or a regular Vulture? What I mean is, have you died to all of them like in one run? Because it might like take a long time for you to find one of those creatures. Another king. Let's go to the next room. Can't tell what that is. It's 2 kings, of course it is. I don't know why king vultures are just as likely to spawn. At least it feels that way. That's wonderful. Did that just not work? Hello? Oh, he's got the Elite Scavenger gear now. That's another king. Yeah, focus on that guy, please. I guess I can just stay in this room then. King, I mean, it should run up King Vultures eventually. I can't tell. Yeah, just regular. There we go. That scavenger got everything. King Vulture Mask, Electric Spear. Okay, now we just continue on as normal. I do need to get food at some point. I could probably get that on the wall. Or maybe this sign right here. That's a wonderful spear throw. You ever wonder why anyone complains about fighting scavengers. That's a wonderful example right there. I even tried to jump. You can look at the input display and see if I actually did. This is wonderful. Authentic arty experience, yeah. Exactly. Buff scavs, yeah, I'm fine. They actually added that to the game with the elites. They looked at the buff scavengers and they're like, hey, that's actually a pretty good idea. That guy doesn't have any spears. That guy did. At least they don't stay in this room for very long. So we should be good until the end of Chimney. Got a shiny Pokemon, you're doing everything. Maybe you should be the one live streaming. Got like 4 different games going on. You have them all like on the same screen. Like 4 times the amount of content. You're saying you actually got good at parrying due to that challenge? That challenge was really hard. Even with the mushrooms, you're basically just waiting for them to throw spears. And then hoping that they're actually within an area that you can't hit them back. Or I forget how the challenge works. You actually have to do the explosive parry, not a spear parry. Which is, it feels like it has a bit of a weird timing as well as like when you're actually able to use it. Sometimes it feels like you try to parry and it just doesn't work at all. I need to kill one of you eventually. For food. Hopefully not run into any scavengers here. They're not dead. Spear parries are slightly more reasonable. Just because if you're like throwing spears at each other, they're probably going to hit. Especially if you're fighting against a very skilled scavenger. They very intentionally try to parry all of your spears. I think that there's a point where a scavenger can become good enough where they just parry 100% of your spears. If they have enough spears themselves, of course. So just keep in mind that a scavenger could be a lot worse. They are holding back. I was trying to do that. It doesn't work. Not even if you do that. Oh, I just did it wrong. There we go. This lizard might be a problem. Because they saw me quite a while ago. So when I see them again, they might no longer be scared. Although they're hiding right there. So I shouldn't even see them. Yeah. You expected. See if I can do this finally. Okay, that makes sense. You can't climb up there. Run. Goodness. I do have enough food. That was probably faster. They were kind of filling up the tunnels. That one tunnel, once again, it's always the most annoying part of a room. It has a big tunnel like that. Okay. I'll over to Pebbles now. As in another opportunity to die to lizards. Or scavengers. Maybe someday I will name things correctly. Banana or tofu? I'll be playing monk. Just to make filtration easier. Actually, no. I got the order wrong. I'm not going to Guardian as monk. I'm going to Pebbles. I'll be going to Guardian as Rivulet. Is Tofu Survivor? I imagine. Yep, all these creatures down here are the ones that I have left. So after seeing Pebbles, I will return to the shelter and die to a blue lizard and pole plant. Then I'll head up to Metropolis, die to the Inspector and the Chieftain Scavenger, although I'll probably die to a lot more Scavengers too, just regular ones. After that, I will play Rivulet and die to a bunch of random creatures. Gourmand for the Hunter Longlegs and Coalescipede, and then Monk for Pebbles. That will be the end of the run. No, Hunter is Cherry. Artificer is probably Raspberry. Yeah, there are Coalescipedes in Metropolis, but there's like 3 of them per room. And those rooms aren't very dark, so it's actually pretty hard to get enough of them to die to. And in Shaded, there's like so many, and they're right next to Gourmand's spawn that it's like much easier. There's also regular spiders in Gourmand's spawning area, so I'm thinking of moving the wolf biters to Gourmand because they just took way too long in Subterranean. Are these records of Scavblood? Probably not, because they were red before they had all that stuff with the scavengers. Skippable cutscene? Yeah, if you exit out of the game, it saves the Okay, I got really lucky there. Toothpaste. Okay. Mint, that makes more sense. I was thinking like apple, green apple, or like what else would it be? Reindeer can kill. I imagine you're talking about this right here, which is the chieftain scavenger, and not a reindeer. And they also can kill you by dropping you into wormgrass. Although I'm not counting that for this challenge. Gourmand is deep fried. Makes sense. Now we're heading to Metropolis, which is a very dangerous place, and especially the very end of it. There's just a ton of scavengers and elites. Which is why I have scavengers saved to the very end on this list. Of course, you don't see them anymore because I've already died to them. But if I somehow manage to get to this point in the run without dying to a scavenger yet, this is where I would do it, at the very end of Metropolis. Need to find a spear, so I would like to... Oh, there's one right there. Excuse me. Trying to have a snack. Oops. You're wondering why I want to take the shelter here. The answer is on the screen right now. Oh, come on. Surely if I'm jumping around, they won't be able to hit me. You know what? This is a faster way to get food. I'll safer too. Once again, too early. I know what you guys are talking about. If you don't believe, it's not real. And I don't believe. I mean, they're not even slug cats, right? They're more like rodents, weasel, or ferret. They just know. Hello? Oh, I could have done something with that rock. There we go. Okay, parry worked. I couldn't do a parry before. Well, I was stuck in the ground. Whatever happened there. It was kind of like they tried to pull me through that block. Through that platform. I suppose that's what Saint can do, right? Someone was talking about that. That Saint can grab stuff through walls. Nice parry, dude. I can also parry. That's better. That Cyan Lizard was very immediately interested in leaving as soon as possible. I'm gonna get sniped. They almost hit me from that angle. Goodness. I don't want to drag this out for too long, so I'm going to take another safety shelter. I'll pretty much be taking every shelter I come across. Oh, okay. Never mind. This is just gonna take longer. You know, I was so distracted by that grapple worm scenario, I didn't even see your fun fact, so I wish I didn't look. Also, you can just exit out of these. So goodbye. Mod spam this user. I don't even have any mods. I'm already out of jumps. Maybe I should eat some of those. So do scavengers always show up here? Okay, not this time, but I usually see them. I wasn't looking at the game. I do that sometimes. Stand up, please. Okay, I'll probably eat the centipede. That's not a centipede. You know what? I'll just leave this area. Now they got grabbed by a grapple worm. There's another place with centipedes, like right here. You know, I don't even know if things age in the brain world, so I don't have an answer for that question. Goodness. Okay, I don't need to eat anything else unless I die again. All those grapple worms, they didn't do anything to you. Sento Wing. It's another one. Why are baby centipedes like the most effective creatures at not getting eaten? Like, not a single creature can effectively like hunt and eat baby centipedes. And just baby centipedes, not any of the larger variants, except for maybe red centipedes. But that's pretty obvious. Nothing can, except for slugcats. Slugcats are somehow actually good at it because they just start eating immediately. But every other creature from the drop egg back there to like king vultures, none of them can successfully defeat just a baby centipede. Right, it shouldn't bother going up. Yeah, and once they're the larger variants, they lose that ability. And they can't shock something once they've been grabbed. I guess because they're too big, they can't connect both sides of them. And baby centipedes are small, so that they can always just do that. I need to make a... Also, this mask is no longer useful. Yeah, we don't... Oh. Oh, right. Well, actually, that's fine. I need to die to an inspector first anyway. But yeah, we don't know what happened to Rivulet. Moon just said that they left or something. It's kind of vague. I'm sure that there's enough Coalescipedes here to kill you if you like brought all of them together somehow. Hello, would you like a spear? Why does everyone suck at this game? It's not that hard, dude. I might have to go down there. They throw the spear upwards. And now you're hurting your own neurons. I should have jumped there. I mean, that might have dodged it. You guys suck. You know that one challenge where you try to kill an inspector and it's like 10 times harder than this? It's harder to kill the... It's harder to die to the inspector than to kill it in that challenge. Where'd the spear go? At least there's nothing else in this room. You didn't even try to aim that one. Maybe I should look for another spear. Oh, there's one up there. Now you got 2 spears. Don't throw them up. The scavengers know what they're doing. Okay, I'm not really paying attention to what's going on in chat. But I feel like if old age was a thing, then either there's some sort of awful scenario where you permanently get stuck at old age, repeatedly dying and being reborn through the cycle. Or, get that spear is acting weird in low gravity. This is annoying. The scavenger are probably going to kill me instead of the inspector. They didn't even have a spear. I might have to take one from the scavengers. They might kill the inspector. Also, it might be a bit unclear if I died to the inspector or the scavengers. You missed again. I died to something. Hold on, I'm checking the stream. What did I die to there? It looks like the inspector killed me. It did. Okay. Inspector is done. You guys, calm down a bit. This game is not very obvious with anything, so anyone's free to speculate however they want. There may be some bits of information that are obvious, but sometimes not, and it's a whole mess. That's a BLL, not a DLL. Okay, maybe I shouldn't go that way. But I usually rely on a grenade for this next area, and I don't have enough food to make one. And there's only 3 fruit here. Oh, okay, those are down there. I can't get those. Just the way that the cycle works and the way that aging at all, and like, it's all very unclear. It's mostly just a game mechanic that is justified as like part of the story. And like the actual details are never specified or elaborated on. Wow, that was easy. Why don't I always do that? Maybe I've died so much that the dynamic difficulty is all the way down. Okay. So there we go. That's Artificer done. That took a little bit longer than it really should have, but a few, maybe a little bit more than a few deaths to scavengers are expected. I think what happened to Rivulet is they just left eventually. I mean, there's just not really that much going on. Other than being able to talk to Moon, that's like the only thing there. And Rivulet is known to be a very adventurous character. Because they've done a bunch of other stuff before we even... Actually, I didn't need to eat that food. But they've done a bunch of different stuff. Actually, I didn't need to eat that food. I'm forgetting my route. Rivulet has the Mark of Communication, which they just got from some other iterator. So I imagine that they don't want to stick around with... I mean, maybe they did spend some time with another iterator, just like they did with Moon, but eventually they decided to go on another adventure. And they probably don't live forever because, you know, we never run into another slug cat other than the slug pups. But I do imagine that there is some sort of limit, maybe lineaging, right? I mean, a lot of creatures lineage into something that isn't even a similar type. Like a spider can lineage into a red lizard. So maybe eventually, that's the slug cat's just lineage into some random other creature, maybe a scavenger. if lineage is even like a real part of the lore and not just like some weird game mechanic. Okay, these two leeches are being really annoying right now. They don't like to. They like to hold on to you for a long time, so I'll just have to deal with them until I make it to the gate. So there's one thing that's really dangerous in this next area. There's a red centipede. There's a decent chance that I die to that on my way to the Brother Longlegs, so I will try to avoid it. Brother Longlegs and garbage wastes. Where we're heading to right now. I mean, okay, adding more areas wouldn't really be that bad for lore, if you do have a problem with it, because it's, I mean, we already know a lot. Like Downpour didn't really add too much because it just kind of explained a bunch of stuff that we knew was gonna happen anyway. Like Pebbles has decayed, of course he has, because the condition of the rock just kept getting worse, and eventually the structure is going to collapse, and you know, so if they made an expansion that was like, here is what the lands between this area and like Seven Red Suns, for example, you know, just kind of make some generic areas, maybe like some cool little bits of lore here and there that are like kind of inconsequential overall, and like we already have a decent idea of what iterators are like overall. So also, I've not seen the Red Centipede yet. There they are. I now see the Red Centipede, but maybe I can go above. I don't think I can reach those. Maybe I can. Okay, that worked out. Hopefully they don't keep following me through this next room. Where are you? Right here. Does it say Brother Longlegs? It is brown. Is it dying to the leeches? It can't drown. There we go. Makes zero sense, so I say it becomes an Echo, not RD. I mean, I actually don't know what happens to Artificer. It looks like they become an Echo in the ending sequence, but then the end, like on the character select screen, it shows that they are. It looks like they just ascended like normal, because it's the same as the other characters. So I don't know what happened for Artificer, but I think it makes sense for Saint, because they are kind of the definition of an Echo, that they are stuck in this cycle. Why that happens exactly? Can I not go through this? Hello? There we go. Maybe something to do with the Void Worm. Okay, I couldn't go through that pipe. I'm gonna count this as a leech death. Okay, now we do any percent. Just go down to the depth. And I actually want to avoid getting grabbed by leeches this time. Oh yeah, there's also the theory that Saint has this like urge to ascend, because that's maybe their purpose. If they are a purposed organism that was meant to be a solution created by an iterator, then it's like the one thing that they're supposed to do. And if they, you know, they keep returning to continue their like whole like ascension thing. I do wish there were more answers about Saint and maybe about the whole Sliver of Straw thing, because I thought that they would be very related. My original theory was that Sliver of Straw created Saint as a triple affirmative, and then Saint, for whatever reason, ascended Sliver of Straw, either intentionally or unintentionally. And then Saint basically just traveled between iterators to ascend them all. But of course, that actually is not exactly true, because I believe that Saint is just after Sliver of Straw completely. So there's not really an explanation for Saint at all, and it kind of leaves like a big gap open in the story. Like what happened to Sliver of Straw, we still don't know. Where did Saint come from? We still don't know. They used to ascend as in ascend to other creatures with their ability, which also isn't explained at all. Saint can just do that stuff. Maybe it's because of the ancients' lack of understanding of how echoes and ascension actually work. Because it appears that Saint was designed to be like the perfect creature to ascend. Like parts of their design are kind of like designed to go against the like natural urges, kind of. Like how they can't throw spears, so they can't do any violence. They can't eat much food, so no gluttony. Or maybe they like purposely starve themselves like the ancients did. That actually worked. There's another mole lizard. Are they all stuck in the floor? Can't believe I'm still alive. I really wish I had any amount of light at all. Good thing I'm revealing, goodness. I probably should have just done that from the beginning, just falling down all the way. But I have to go through that tunnel up top. Also, it's about to rain, but that won't be a problem. But I kind of like the idea that Saint is so purposefully designed to ascend based on the ancients' beliefs that they end up actually not working out at all. And that the ancients don't really know what ascension, or what helps out ascension. Which could also explain maybe why Artificer doesn't become an Echo, if they don't, because we actually don't know. Although, the Saint is so obviously an Echo in the character select screen that it's like strange that Artificer doesn't also get the same thing, you know? That's not high enough. But maybe Saint is like so designed to be perfect for ascending that they end up missing out on what's important for actually helping out ascending, or maybe something that goes against the ability to ascend, thus creating an Echo. Okay, I'm over here now. I actually don't know where to go. I guess I'll head back up. I can't head back up. Nope, I can. It's obvious that I've never gone down here before. There we go. Goodness. I think the Guardian should be close to attacking me next time. Just don't throw me back down. Bro. If you want to throw me back down with like extra force, go ahead. You have to wait a little bit. Oh, you doing it now? There you go. Congratulations. Now we have this music playing in this area. Leeches be nice to me. Okay, they kind of just suck at the game too. If I can remember where to go, I know where there's a kelp and the eel I was going to get in the gutter. Did the game crash again? Yes, it did. I love when that happens. In a run where I use real time. Anyway, now we're actually going. We're good. It's all good. They're going on the right path. What was the first time that I got? I think it was just under 4 hours. Also, I'm kind of surprised that I haven't died to a kelp yet before this point. So I guess that's good. That's what it should be for all the creatures on this list. I think we can say fairly confidently that Ascension is good just because of the cutscenes at the end of Survivor and Monk. Which is also kind of strange to me because, you know, the ancients had the idea that you had to like leave all of your like earthly desires behind in order to ascend, and yet it is Survivor and Monk's desires that are fulfilled through Ascension. You know, Survivor wanted to be with their family, and that's what they got when they ascended. Monk wanted to reunite with Survivor, and they also got that when they ascended. Or maybe they didn't, and it's just like a hallucination or like a vision, an illusion by the Void Sea. Who knows what happened with Hunter? I don't know if anyone has a good answer for that yet. Please stop. There we go. There we don't go. Okay, now we go. I might die to a red spider though. That's possible. And also for Artificer, they got to see their Blood Pups again. For a bit. Now, I actually don't have full-length cycles on. That's usually a remix setting that we have on for Rivulet runs, because their cycles are they can be so short. So usually we have 8 full pips on the timer, but it's random for this. So I'm actually taking the shelter for 2 reasons. 1, to make the cycle longer, and 2, to die to some creatures in the gutter. One of those creatures would be a stowaway if there was one, but I could not find one. But I think they can be in the gutter. I think I've seen one in the gutter before. But maybe they just don't show up as a Rivulet. Or I'm not very good at looking for them. Wow, a spider. I might die to that one too. Haha. Yeah, the other characters ascend and they just kind of, nothing happens, you know. Which I think is the point, right? To make Ascension seem less appealing. Because they get endings that are better for them, maybe? Debatably. That's kind of the point. That's like one of the big things of Downpour, that there are other endings as alternatives to Ascension that are probably better. And that the Ancients are kind of flawed in their idea of focusing on Ascension so much. Okay, thank you, Spider. Hunter and Gourmand. I don't know if I checked those ones. But those are 2 out of the way anyway. You know, these spiders actually attack me all the time in rib speedruns. I'm usually climbing up fast enough to dodge them, but they always attack me. But when I was trying to die to them earlier, it seemed like they would attack but then miss. Okay, I'm out of practice. Also, I need to get food. Yeah, I do. Very quickly. There's a popcorn plant. I don't need to worry about it. Yeah, Rubicon doesn't really make any sense at all. Okay, goodbye everyone. There were like 4 creatures there. Slide. Nope, not a backflip. Slide. Nope. That's a Cyan. There's also a Vulture up here. Well, if you want that kind of experience, just play Survivor and Monk. They actually have the most like balanced like ecosystems, I think. I should have got that spear. There's another one up there. That's the only one up here. Fun. Felt like doing that. And yeah, I suppose you don't need downpour for that. That's another complaint that I have. I agree that, you know, the harder characters can be a bit excessive in the amounts of creatures. And the amount of like dangerous creatures like red lizards and such. I realized just now that I forgot to get a green lizard or a green spider, but that's not a problem. I can get them. I can just restart the save file to get that. Ruffles potato chips, yep. That's exactly what inspired Moon to come up with that name. I forgot how I did that. But it was still fine. So there is, it kind of feels like I'm close to the end, but I'm actually not really close at all. So I have to get up to the Mother Longlegs, which will take up a little bit. And then restart the file to do the green spider. I forgot. And then do Gramon for those few creatures. That won't take that long though. But then do an entire run, get the pebbles as a monk. That's another like 20 minutes. Dude, I don't think it takes that long. Depending on how many deaths, of course. And if I can make it through here safely. That was a bit scary. I feel like the distorted areas of Rubicon suggest that it isn't a real place. Like, yeah, let's build this place where we build the same things that we already did, but upside down and filled with acid. I think it's some sort of weird distorted version of the world. Maybe like Saint entering the depths created some sort of problem that created this. Yeah, I feel very, very lucky about that. I think Rubicon as a physical location would make more sense from the interpretation that the whole world has sunken lower into the Void Sea, and then something happened. I think that would be more like Void Sea, like caves, you know, not like the lower parts of Rubicon make sense because it's basically just the depths, but okay, be careful here. Basically just the depths, but void-like. But then the further you go, the more strange it gets. Which maybe that's the same as descending into the Void Sea anyway, except you're going up. Yeah, I don't know. Rubicon. The reason Rubicon exists is because Saint was originally the difficult character. You couldn't throw spears and you died to everything. And if you died, you would lose all of your karma. So it'd be fitting to add a very difficult area to the end to make up for their very overpowered ability that you get at max karma. So they made Rubicon filled with red lizards and stuff, and then they realized once the mod became Downpour that, oh shoot, we need to justify this thing existing, and then they probably made up some random stuff with the Void Sea or something. But that's why Rubicon exists. It is a challenging area at the end of what was supposed to be hard mode, essentially. That's a lot of Downpour. It wasn't designed as Rainworld DLC, it was designed as a mod. And then they had to just explain stuff. Be careful here. I was very happy when I discovered that, because going along the other side of the room would be very annoying. Can't reach that. You kind of suck at this too. You wonder sometimes, like, how do you die accidentally in this game when stuff like that happens? Oh, okay. Thank you. That makes this easier. Yeah, Downpour is cool. Overall, I mean, I'm still playing it. I'm still doing speedruns and challenges and just whatever I can come up with. If you really like, vanilla Rainworld for the lore and the story and the just like environmental storytelling and all that, then Downpour may not deliver fully on those expectations. But if you enjoy playing the game, then it's more of that. So it's like pretty good as a DLC, especially for a game that hadn't received any content updates for many years. It's nice to have something at least, but you know, they could have done a lot more. Like, I'm not going to try that anymore. Then a beat jump scare. Okay, so now it's the challenge of dying to a green spider. Fairly difficult to dying to a regular spider or wolf spider. There they are. It's so loud in this room, you can't even hear the spider. It'd be so easy just to throw a spear right now. I guess, actually, this is another way to die to Coalesca Peeps. I didn't think of that. If I threw a spear. But I wouldn't count that as dying to the green spider. Do you want to do something? You suck. Why graffiti exists? Because the ancients were bored. And the scavengers. The stuff they did. Okay, goodbye. It's the end of the cycle, really. An entire cycle and they could not do it. Congratulations, Spider. Rubicon makes sense if... So Saint wanted to fight a bunch of red spiders and centipedes? Without paint? How do you know that they don't have paint? Why not? And like Spearmaster can do it, so not difficult at all for the ancients. There we go. Maybe I'll shelter here. I mean, surely a green spider will be able to kill me this time. Actually almost makes it. Okay, I'm gonna assume that the green spider is over here then. That is not a green spider. This is taking a lot longer than it should. Green spider now? No. Am I wall pouncing without wall pouncing? What? Without pouncing, okay, so... I read that wrong, but... You just need to be moving fast enough into a wall while not standing up. And so I jump into the wall, I press down to enter the crouching state midair, and that lets me do a wall pounce. Now, I don't know where this green spider's den is, but it went up after it started raining, so I imagine it's up here. Okay. You can't actually do it as the other slow cats. It's just much easier as Reveal, because they just move that fast by default. Okay, I'm actually starting to doubt if the green spider spawns over here. That's not a green spider. Goodness. Oh, that is. They might die to the centipede. Yep, come down here. And I got hit. I'm still alive. This is what I expected last run when trying to get the green spider death. It was actually a lot easier than that. I think they attacked me immediately and I got lucky with the random Y RNG. There were rocks. How many rocks right here? No, it doesn't want me to leave. Oh, okay, I missed my chance twice. Are they aggressive now? Change your mind? Sorry if this room is a bit loud. Oh, did I dodge that? Unintentionally. It's the waterfall. I should stop moving. Ah. Nope, not lucky enough. Come on. It's weird that sometimes it looks like they just grab you without actually dealing damage. Maybe this would be easier as Saint in that one area where there's a whole lot of green spiders. I don't know if there's a good shelter around that. Actually, there is a shelter right before the gate or right after the gate. Funny how it was so obviously that pipe is meant to be like one way, but Rivulet doesn't care. I mean, if you do all those wall pounces, of course. I don't think the spider's from this area. Oh, not you. There's also a chance that they died to something like this eel. I don't usually see them up here. I hope you are enjoying the stream of doing nothing repeatedly. I don't know if it would have made a difference if I tried to get this on the first cycle. Okay, I wanted to. Maybe I should have gone here from the beginning and I missed them last time. Nothing over here. While you guys are all discussing Rainworld lore on the side. Hello, welcome to the stream. I'm currently trying to dive to something that is very, very bad at being dangerous. by first of all not even showing up in the first place. But even when it was there, it did not like to attack me at all. Okay, wait. The den is actually quite far away from this room. They just really like to come here for some reason. Should have done that from the start. But also there's a quite large centipede. And there's that spider. They got out. And now that I found it... Okay, well I know where its den is now. No idea what's happening in chat. Honestly, I feel like there's just not really enough material to work off of. It's all ambiguous and not really explained much. And you can come up with your own theories, but I don't know, it doesn't really mean anything. So I need to go this way and avoid the centipede. I think they're right down there. Take that. Oh no. I can see why the spider didn't sometimes make it. I'm very dangerous and scary, and you feel like attacking me. Nope, that's not it. That's running away. About time. I wasn't even trying to die that time. I was trying to get rid of the snail. Only 3 creatures left. Also, maybe it would have been faster at that point just to stab the spider to get the... to spawn the coil escapees. That's fine though. Probably should have gone for the coil escapede first. Yeah, your karma does go down in that ending sequence. See, this is exactly why. Now, I could have made it past them the first time, but now I have to wait. Oh, they're actually quite pink when they're going through pipes. Hello? Oh, there we go. This will be the last character. The last creature, technically, to die to. I always forget to skip that cutscene. So you can press a button to just, like, not have it show up at all. Now we're playing Monk. Banana, cat, slug, whatever. Pipe was a creature. I'm counting them for the sake of this challenge because I thought it'd be funny. But I didn't think that I'd have to do an entire run. just for them. I mean, I could have saved 30 minutes if that green spider killed me from the beginning. Yeah, wall pouncing requires a certain amount of speed, and Rivet does not struggle to get that amount of speed at all. And also, Rivet just has much better wall pounces from the beginning, because they basically just have crazy multipliers on all their movement. So when you do wall pounce, it's just like 2 or 3 times better than like if Survivor does a wall pounce. See if I can do one right now. There we go. Just see, that didn't really give me much height at all. But I did it in the same method. I just had to do a turnaround boost to get the speed required. Or you can just do a pounce into the wall, like that. I actually have there's also another place for me to show off wall pounces. They're even useful as these characters, but just not as much as for Rivulet. It also just happens that Rivulet can go through Chimney Canopy, where there's just a ton of vertical rooms where wall pouncing is really useful. And yeah, for Monk, for example, 5%, you're going upwards the whole time, but there's just not that many good spots. I mean, actually, I did discover a lot of good spots for wall pounces as Rivulet. Just not really for these characters. Rivulet's just kind of broken. All right here. There we go. That's a little bit faster. So the reason I'm playing Monk is just because they're easier. And at this point in the run, at the very end, we're just trying to get to Pebbles and nothing else. I could have done something there, I forgot. Full wall pounces and mostly an accident. Yeah, they're pretty easy to do accidentally. A lot of people like to turn them off, and I think that's also kind of why they were removed in the first place, because wall pounces were a tech that was in the original version of Rain World, but then was removed and then re-added in Downpour, if you enable a remix setting for it, which is probably the best way to do it. If you're doing speedruns, you kind of have to have wall pounces on it for some categories, because they just make a huge difference. I think Rivulet is one of those categories. I always forget about this guy. Don't do it. Okay, he's kind of dumb, but also Blue Lizard. Oh, he's blind. Actually, no, they're not blind. Monk's just very good at getting past lizards. I don't think they're okay. Monk is the stealthiest slow cat, essentially. Where lizards just don't really notice you. Also, I have no idea where that egg bug came from. There, you can see there again. That white lizard did not care. And they still don't care. Well, I actually recommend speedrunning Monk if you don't like creatures. They don't like bananas. Yeah, making mistakes now. Chimney is one of the worst regions for this speedrun, Pebbles percent. So hopefully everything goes well. White lizards and stuff can be a real problem, but maybe, or hopefully not as monk. I shouldn't have done that. I'm getting it back. And because that lizard's in the way. Okay then. That's been taken care of. I don't know what Scavenger reputation is as monk. Also, they all got destroyed by these lizards. Also, 3 blue lizards is so much better than like 3 cyan lizards plus white lizards plus. Okay, there's a few more than just 3. But like cyan lizards, king vultures, red lizard, spitter spiders. Okay, never mind, there are vultures. I don't like them going that way. As long as I can get past, you can just see how not aggressive lizards are. Nice slide. Yeah, I agree. I wish the downpour characters had these like chill moments where you're just kind of going through the regions. That are all like super difficult, like red creature spam. Yeah, you could play the others as monk or in monk's campaign, but I guess that kind of gets rid of their unique regions. I don't know if Artificer can still go to Metropolis or if he can go to Outer Expanse, but you know, all of Saint's regions can't do that. Although Saint does have more reasonable spawns, I think. Nice one. They don't have the drone. The scavengers still hate you. That will still be something that's adds to the difficulty, no matter what campaign you're in. Although there might be some weird stuff going on with like local reputation and global reputation, but if you see a scavenger, they won't like you. They see you. I think that's how that works. I mean, like personally, I don't think the creatures are too difficult for me, because I have played this game a lot. But it's still kind of, it can be annoying sometimes, and I know that it, you know, for new players, that it is in fact like a really challenging and maybe a reason that a lot of people don't play the game. And I think that, you know, the difficulty is important to a degree. But the difficulty doesn't just have to be like difficult creature spam. It can also just be learning how to control the slugcat and understanding the behavior of lizards and other creatures. You know, just that kind of stuff. That is just kind of the learning curve. That's a difficulty that's important for the game, but then when they start spamming creatures and when you have to fight scavengers as Artificer and all that stuff, that's when it gets a little unfair and just no longer becomes enjoyable. In some circumstances, you can eventually learn how to deal with it. Okay, wow, really? You know, I still have never gotten consistent at this jump. I'm just waiting for the rain timer to run out so that the white lizards will run away. Definitely the plan. There we go. I could have brought a fruit with me to do that a little bit at the end instead of the spear. And if you saw the marathon, the speedrun marathon stream, you may have seen that. Okay, actually a angry white lizard for once. All of the wall has, or a lot of the wall has these bits where you can take either the left or right path. And I still have no idea which one is the best in most rooms. I think I usually prefer going left side recently. I assume that this is something that you get used to if you use controller a lot, but I'm not very good at hitting a consistent direction. If I want to move forward, I usually move forward plus like a slight angle to the side. Really hard to hold exactly exactly forward or exactly to the left or right. And in some games, being able to precisely hit a specific angle really helps out, or a specific like distance from the center. Maybe there's a word for that, but I usually just flick to the very end, like as far as you can go with the joystick. But you know, sometimes, you know, if you hold just a little bit forward, then you can do a different action, and I always suck at that. But I don't use controller much, so I'm kind of used to it. I think I can do Altern Vault. Got spears. Maybe there's some wall pound stuff that you can do there. You don't have a spear. Oh yeah, I do use fast rolls. I didn't use them for a long time, but they are really useful in some runs. Now, I don't know what it is like to use a controller for rolls specifically. But if it is like if you can eventually get to the point where you can always do either a normal roll or a fast roll whenever you want, then I think a fast roll button should work the same. Because I actually do struggle sometimes to use whichever one that I want specifically. Sometimes you actually do want to do normal rolls for the extra jump height. And I sometimes struggle to switch between the two. So it's not like completely free, but most of the time using just fast rolls is enough for... Fast rolls are good for like 90% of scenarios, and maybe even more than that. Okay, that was a really high wall pounce. I'm pretty sure that happens if you do the wall pounce right at the like highest speed during the slide, because the height that you get is dependent on your speed. Yeah, that's dependent on fast rolls. You can start a roll from a really short jump with fast rolls, but not with normal rolls. And also, welcome to Shaded Citadel. Yeah, something weird happens in that gate when it's about to become nighttime. Okay, I might not be able to make it here. Yeah, I was right. Level percent runner's worst nightmare. Can I line up here? I don't know if I'm aligned. I think I'm close enough. Yeah, there we go. I need to pick up some items here to throw out pebbles. I still don't have a consistent strategy for that room. I missed. Time loss. Hello? Or are they losing their hitbox right before they hit him? I'd like it if you came down here, Pebbles. Oh yes, let me disable rain in Rain World. There we go. All right. Well, that's better. About 30 minutes faster, which is nice, but still a lot to improve. I'm sure I could get this below 3 hours without all of those extra unnecessary deaths, just all throughout the run, as well as just, you know, better movement, better routing, remembering to eat food. There's a lot that you can improve this. That's just the case for any very long run like this. And I don't know exactly if I want to keep doing this run regularly. I think I'm siding with not doing it too often, but I may return to this. Getting better spider RNG, yeah. But also, another category that I might want to try out is the MSC percent, which is just beating the story percent of all the downpour slug cuts, which is not great. Probably would be longer than this run, actually. Spearmaster and Saint in particular are quite long runs. But also, you know, with a long run like that, you're probably going to make more mistakes. You're going to have to just, you know, let yourself make a few mistakes and deaths in here and stuff like that here and there. Unlike another run where if you make a small mistake, you can reset the run until you get like something that's close to perfect, or at least as close to perfect as you can get. Yeah, 2 hours minimum. If you do both of those runs, because both of those runs are like very close to about an hour exactly. So if you did the run perfectly, 2 hours already. And the others aren't exactly an hour long, but like 20 minutes, 40 minutes, and 30 minutes. Plus, mistakes and deaths and all of that. So that is something that I'm not exactly sure if I can stream if I have enough time. But I do want to try that category eventually, just so that someone has done it at least. 5-hour stream. Yeah. But anyway, I guess I achieved my goal of doing this run, but better. Not playing Spearmaster definitely helped. I would recommend that. You don't ever have to play Spearmaster. But also, I realize now that green spiders may be a way to Gladicoil SCPs, although does that really save that much time because you get them so quickly as Gourmand. But I kind of want to find a better way to die with green spider. And preferably in an area where there's a lot of them, like Saint's Undergrowth. There are multiple green spiders, I believe. Or not, it looks like there's just one on the map. And there's another one quite far away, so maybe green spiders will just be an annoying part of the run. Drought mod, if it's updated to downpour, which actually doesn't really make sense since it kind of conflicts with downpour lore-wise. Maybe that's not too big of a deal though. But whenever mods do come out with like full campaigns like Drought did, then I will be interested in trying those out. Most mods nowadays, well, just because there hasn't been too much time, it takes quite a long time to create a whole like campaign with like story events and maybe unique regions or creatures. It will take a while for that to happen, but when it does, eventually I will check those out. But that is the end of the stream. So thanks everyone for watching. As always with these long streams where eventually there's going to be some sort of lore discussion in the middle of it. Even if it has nothing to do with what's actually happening in the stream. It's, I'm fine with you guys if you do that. So, yeah, thanks everyone for watching. See ya.